I want you to imagine that you are at a crossroads. You see two paths in front of you. One path is clear and well-traveled and very familiar. It matches the path behind you. You kind of know where that's going to go. You know what that feels like. You know that path. There's nothing new about that. And then over here on this path has a sparkle to it. This path is intriguing you. It's pulling, it's tugging at something inside you that says, there, that's where you need to go. That's the path. And so you know that these are your two paths that you're stuck on, what you're familiar with, and the new path that's going to take you somewhere that you've never been before. And it's going to ask things of you that you've never done before. And before you can decide whether or not to take the well-worn path or the new and exciting path, you realize that there's some blockage to get to the new path. You have piles of obstacles, and these piles are all of your self-doubts, your self-sabotage, your bad habits, all of these things that smooth the path that's well-traveled, that you've been on before, is now blocking you from accessing that new path. That's basically where I'm at right now. So I've got my old path, I've got my new path, and I've got all these obstacles that I've created from traveling the old path. But to get over to that new one, I have to get through and demolish and break down these obstacles that are a part of me, these things that are no longer serving me to go in this new direction. But here's what I've been doing. I'm not dealing with the obstacles. I'm trying to just push through and just like plow through, still go down that new path. But guess what? I'm dragging all these obstacles with me into the new path. And so I can't actually travel it. I'm just getting glimpses. I'm just like touching the new path, but I'm not actually cruising along it in a smooth fashion because I've got this baggage that came with me from my old path that doesn't fit on this new one. So what do? Time to start busting down some obstacles. So if you've ever experienced this similar situation as this creative analogy has kind of brought to you, you might have known what it feels like to have those two paths and to feel like, yeah, you're on this path, but you really want to get over there, but you just kind of like feel it's not open. It's fighting you. It's fighting you because you're trying to bring along what doesn't match that path. So in today's video, I wanted to take some time and work on myself to deal with these obstacles. I'm getting swamped. I'm getting overwhelmed dealing with so many obstacles that I cannot thrive with finding the new version of me that can travel that until I deal with what I've been bringing with me. Stick with me. It gets better. And hopefully there'll be a little nugget in there somewhere that makes you go, oh, I got it. I can do that for myself. I can make my life a little bit easier and not have such a burden to fight through on a daily basis. Hope you enjoy, and let's dive in. Well, hello, lovelies. I'm Tay, and I just wanted to share kind of a personal journey that I'm going through, working through a lot of different obstacles. So I'm in the middle of my 75 soft challenge. There's a lot of barriers that I have been working to overcome, but surprisingly, it's not what I thought. It's the mental and the emotional barriers to my journey, not the physical. Physical's doing great. I'm busting butt, like 10K steps a day. I just wanted to take a second to make this video to really talk about the habits and traits that I'm still carrying with me that are clearly not serving me and are holding me back from achieving some real change. Like I feel like the progress and the steps, they're all there, but I'm not feeling like anything is really set in the new version of me. I want to talk about some of those shifts in my mindset and the new habits I'm bringing on board to kind of lock that in a little bit better and see that new version, that healthy, stronger version of me that this whole journey has been about. So let's go. All right, I'm not going to go too in depth with all the obstacles because I've already filmed pretty much the same thing 4 or 5 times and I can't stop rambling or getting stuck in the victim mentality and making excuses without getting past them. So real quickly, a lot of the obstacles that I've been going through, I don't have a vehicle. Because when my daughter turned 18, she made a lot of bad choices and then she started to clean things up and make better choices. And so I decided to give her the family car to help aid her in making those good choices and doing the journey for herself, which now leaves me with no car. Isn't a big deal usually, but now that I started this challenge, apparently going to the gym has made me get out a lot more than I ever did before. I have no income or steady income right now, which means I can't go out and get myself a new car. So that is making it harder. And then The third part of no car, no income, my driver's license expired. And I have gone to the DMV on a couple different occasions to get that worked on. And if you've been married and you've changed your name, you must show certificates and paper trails to explain your name change and paper trail as to why you have a different name than you used to. And I didn't have that. So then I had to go and file for those. I've been married twice, so I needed to. One of them, $13, and it came within 4 days. 4 days, $13. The other one was from a bigger establishment. It cost $40, and it's been over 2 weeks. It still hasn't come. Don't know where it is. That's slowing my progress down there a little bit. I am relying on transportation from my ex-husband, and we co-parent my 9-year-old together, and sometimes we get along, sometimes we don't. Just kind of depends. He freelances some work and works from home, so he has flexibility, and he's offered numerous times, if you need anything, let me know, no big deal. It's not like it's bothering me to just give you a ride. Well, I've been relying on that a lot more than normal, and this last week apparently was his breaking point, or I got under his skin. I don't really know what happened, but suddenly it's an inconvenience and a waste of his time and a drain of his resources. And so I ended up going through the shame cycle of feeling like I'm too much and being oversensitive and causing people problems. And the people pleaser in me is just like, how do I make it better? I'm sorry. And I've had to go all the way through my self-work that I've been doing from all year, for months now, of you have value, you have worth. You are not asking for too much. This was offered to you. It is not your problem if somebody overstacked their schedule, because that sounds like what had happened was they overstacked and overstretched their capacity and then took it out on me as it being my fault, which I can't hold that responsibility. I accepted what was offered. So on top of all of these little obstacles and trying to stop letting myself sink into those spirals and build myself back up, the biggest, out of all my obstacles is I just posted week 2 on this journey, and I was finishing my editing on week 3, ready to upload that. And when I went onto my computer, it was all gone. Everything was gone. My files of all of my videos and stuff that I'd been downloading were gone. The audios were gone. The screenshots were gone. The thumbnails that I was putting together, gone. I went into my software that I use for editing the videos, and they have, project history. So I pulled up the project history. Gone. Everything is gone. I spent hours doing recovery. There was no updates. There was no reboots and system thingies and stuff like that. I cried. I cussed. I swore. I sat on the floor and going like, now what? Now I quit. Now I give up. It's like it never existed. All of this work that I did, even last year's work that I did on videos, it's just gone. It's like it was a dream. I just dreamed of being a content creator, of making all of this stuff. And then I woke up and realized it never happened. If it weren't for my YouTube channel where I can see the video sitting there, I know it happened. Those are my obstacles. All right, so I had to give myself a hot minute or 10 to figure out what to do when this latest obstacle, the big one that decimated everything. I was done. I wanted to quit. There's not been a lot of views, not a lot of people following. I'm all alone, really, in this journey. Like, there's no support. There's no voice of, you can do it. You got this. I don't even know what that voice sounds like from anybody outside my own thoughts. I was like, I can still do the challenge. I don't have to do the videos. I can just move on. But I didn't like the way that was sitting. And I had to just shake it off and be like, you're not a quitter. You wanted to achieve something. You still can. There literally is nothing that is stopping you from still achieving what you set out to do. It got harder. You gotta be a little bit more creative, because now you gotta figure out how to explain the jump from week 2 to where you are now, which is day 40. It would be so much easier just to let it go. But it doesn't match the person I want to become. Nobody's gonna save me. Nobody's out here with the hand pulling me up. Anything that I want, I gotta do it. And that takes a lot of strength to keep on pulling back over and over again. And I decided that I need to write down what some of these old habits, these traits are that is keeping me in this victim mentality, in this giving up, I don't want to do it stage. And don't get me wrong, I'm feeling the feels, right? I need to figure out what are these traits so I can not erase them, but grow them, work on them to develop them into the person that can handle these things that they literally just roll off my back and just say, what problem? What problem? I'm going to write down kind of everything that I identified as my personality, all my traits, all my bad habits, and then switch them over to what are the improved habits? Like, what can I grow them into? What can I erase? What can I chop off? And I think that's going to give me that clarity and that mindset to win, to get it, to do it. Because it's up to me. It's up to me. If I fail, if I succeed, if I get stuck in the middle, it's up to me. So I just want to show you something real quick that I'm working on. I decided to kind of piece out how I see myself. What are the areas I don't like that are not feeling like it's aiding my ability to grow or develop. And then I did another column where I'm going to write out all of the traits of what my future self would embody, where I'm at, where I want to go type of thing. And as I'm writing my list, there are so many traits on the old me that I almost needed to get another piece of paper before I was like, whoa, hang on, slow down here. You're cutting yourselves down pretty sharply. So let me switch over, and then I'll start talking or writing out my thoughts of who the future me would be. Like, what are their traits that make them different than what I am now? Here's what I got so far. So just a simple piece of paper, nothing fancy. And I'm just writing out the traits of the old me. Haven't gotten to this part yet. Spent a lot of time on this one. Actually didn't take me long at all. They were just like flying out of me. So I don't know if I should be a little concerned about that. But basically, quiet. I'm not shy, but I hold my thoughts in a lot when I feel I'm not at a safe place, which leads into having low value and low self-worth. And I don't know if that's the same thing as low self-confidence or what, because I do like myself. I have no problem. I don't tear myself down saying, oh, you're so stupid, you're so worthless. I just don't feel very strong. Most of my time sitting at home. I stay up way too late, so I'm not prioritizing my health in getting sleep, because that is a cornerstone beyond what exercise can help me with. I do a lot of snacking, especially in the evening. Definitely, I don't even focus on healthy meals. This is before my challenge. This was the me before I started trying to make these changes. Definitely way too much coffee. So I wouldn't even eat. I would just drink coffee all morning long. And I would neglect myself, all my self-care. Like I was neglecting showering, neglecting my teeth, washing my face and pampering and spa, anything. Like nails, no, that's not even a thing. I'm extremely calm until I'm not. And my daughter and my ex-husband are the only two people I've ever dealt with that can trigger this on almost a daily basis. I feel like I've got a full cup when I wake up in the morning, and sometimes, especially on the days where my daughter doesn't have school, I find this just gone so fast. And there's not a real reason for it. It's just, it bumps me out. When I'm going through some of this where I don't feel like I'm being appreciated, I definitely find myself being extremely critical of others. And it leads to me wanting to control what's going on because, and these pieces are all together, I fear change in what I can't control because so much happens, I feel, without me being a part of it or choosing it. I end up controlling and getting critical as things are changing outside of my choice. And that, of course, means I have nothing else I'm focusing on. I don't feel like I have a purpose. There's nothing else to give my attention to. I'm super emotionally triggered. So when this is going on with my short temper and no patience, a lot of it is because I've gotten emotionally triggered. I've like pouring myself into somebody, trying to help them out, and it gets thrown back in my face or underappreciated or just it's not making a difference. And then I get triggered. So yeah, that's that quick depleted, which leads to that. So like all of these are just like connected. And then just fear of being perceived. And that's going to the DMV to get my driver's license dealt with and going to the gym and all of these things. They're just so many things are connected. Like I feel like I could probably make 3 changes and this would all just ease. So now I'm going to work on the new. Who is the new Tay? What traits do they have? As I was working on this list, I can see there's a pattern in there. Like there are very specific traits that piggyback off of each other or are just coming out in different ways, but it's the same core issue. And so as I'm looking at this, I'm like, okay, I bet if I could just piece this together into the core cause, that'll give me more clarity as to which direction to go forward on. I was like, hello technology. So I plugged it into ChatGPT and I said, I'm doing self-work on myself, and I've made a list of characteristics and traits that I would like to overcome, change, but I need to see the pattern to get a better understanding of what I'm working on. So I listed out all of the stuff on there, just like in my paper. Go figure. It just got right to the root of everything and helped group things together in the similar trait problems to give a better idea as to what areas I'm working on to overcome them. And then, of course, because ChatGPT does everything, they also followed up with, here's some recommendations to help you work on those areas. So let's take a look at what old ChatGPT has said about me as my new therapist, apparently. So here's just my little box of here's what's going on. It pretty much just matches everything that I wrote on my paper. This is the categories that we got. My one pattern is showing up under self-esteem and self-confidence, which totally makes sense. The staying quiet, undervalued, low self-worth, fear of being perceived, fear of failing, which I did actually add, even though that's not on there, because I realized that that's also in there. So it was able to tell me that I've got some self-esteem and confidence issues. As much as I didn't think I had confidence issues, clearly I still do. And it just basically says that if you're, not feeling worthy or capable, you're going to withdraw, stay quiet. You're going to avoid attention for fear of being perceived. You're going to worry about failure. So I need to work on building my self-worth and self-acceptance to improve how I show up in the world and how I interact with others. Hello, there we go. The other grouping it found was under emotional regulation and resilience. That's what's causing that short-tempered, low patience, emotionally triggered, quickly depleted mentally and emotionally. I'm easily getting overwhelmed and reactive to situations, which is causing me to lead into burnout and anger. And I need to focus on mindfulness and my stress management techniques, obviously emotional intelligence. So yeah. Number 3, control and resistant to change. So controlling situations and things, fear of things changing and feeling helpless to things changing. It reflects a struggle with letting go of control and a fear of uncertainty. It looks like there's a need to sense security and stability. Oh my gosh, yes. I feel that there is not enough stability and security in my life, which is probably why I go crazy reaching out, trying to control things. I need to embrace that uncertainty and flexibility and just trust that it's going to be okay. And that's really hard. That is really hard. Clearly, a big piece is the health and well-being, which I am working on by doing my 75 soft challenge for this lock-in. So I think that I'm already working towards getting a better routine, creating healthier habits. That's going to affect my energy levels, focus, and well-being. So totally right there. I'm right on the money with that one. But that's literally 1 out of 5 areas. And then just feeling no purpose and focus is going to stem from the lack of direction and clarity. I need to have a better understanding of what I value and what I want to achieve in life. Yeah, let's see what they say my next steps of focus action is. I need to practice affirmations and self-compassion. So I got to challenge the negative self-talk, replace it with a positive, more realistic thoughts. Don't worry about taking those small risks. It's going to build up my confidence. Absolutely. And I do feel like I am calling myself out on those negative talk loops, and I'm trying to not let that victim mentality kick in. All right, so emotional regulation and resilience, deep breathing, grounding techniques. I am working on that. Regular emotional check-in habit, journaling or talking to somebody I trust. I don't have that, and I really dislike journaling, but it looks like if I'm going to make these improvements, I got to do it. Reframing your thoughts when triggered. I've been teaching my daughter to ask questions. Like the moment you want to react with anger or blaming somebody, ask a question. Why did they do that? What are they trying to achieve? Something with a question. And that literally stops that anger and reframes it. So I apparently need to do what I tell everybody else to do. Control and resistant to change. Start small by embracing change in low stakes area. You know what? I have really been changing these things hardcore with all of this self-improvement. So that's really great to see that that is going to help. Letting go of small things I can't control, that's hard. That's hard. There's so many things that have been going on that I feel helpless to change. So I just got to keep at it. Consistent bedtime and wake up, plan my meals and snacks, focus on quality sleep, reduce caffeine. You know, I love that I'm working on that, and that is taking me in the direction I want to go. So yay, high five. Purpose and motivation. Spend some time reflecting on your core values and interests. Set clear, actionable, short-term goals. Experiment with different activities and hobbies to find out what motivates you. I love that. I definitely have been dabbling in that, but I have not really gone hardcore because I've been working on so much of this stuff. By categorizing the habits this way, you can focus on a particular area like self-esteem or emotional regulation and tackle them step by step instead of feeling overwhelmed by everything at once. Darn you, Chat GPT. You're so darn clever getting that all figured out. All right, well, yeah, apparently I am on my way with a couple of those areas. So I think that's going to really help me fine tune how I see the new person. Because I can't just say happy all the time. Like, that's not the future Tay. That's not really what I'm going for. But if I can say has strong emotional regulation and is able to perceive overwhelming situations in different lights, like that makes a lot more sense than just saying doesn't get bothered, because I don't know what to do to achieve that. But if I were to say can perceive things in different lights, that gives me a step of what I'm practicing. I don't know if that makes sense, but it makes sense to me. And I'm the one that has to do the work. So I guess that's a good thing. All right, so now I got to figure out how to keep on pushing forward. And I think what I'm going to do is take a little bit of time to reassess what some of my goals are. I'm missing myself. I know what I was going for. I know what the steps are that I'm doing daily to get there, but I've kind of lost sight of who it is I'm trying to become. And I've gotten stuck in my negative loop where I kind of fall into victim mode. All of this is happening to me. It's such a problem. I don't know what to do. I can't overcome it. Yeah, it's not that those aren't true facts and that those pieces aren't valid, but it's not going to stop me. I can't let it stop me. It shouldn't stop me. It should be, I acknowledge that. Yes, this is going to be tricky. Still going to do it. Still going to do it. But basically, your ego is your identity, yourself, who you perceive yourself, who you portray and dress for and talk for. That's what you want to stay. Like, the ego is comfortable in knowing its identity. The problem is when you want to change your identity, when you want to grow, when you want to develop, which is what we should all be doing. From the moment we're born to the moment we end our existence on this plane, we should be trying to achieve more growth, knowledge, understanding, be a part of the world. And that's where I lost sight of myself, was I stopped being a part of the world. I basically didn't do any steps to grow or develop myself. And my ego was very happy making that my identity. And right now, I just need to get up here. Because your ego is your identity and it is yourself, and there's comfort in that knowledge, it wants to stay there. Like, you know, flight or flight, freeze, all of that, of when it's new and scary and different, your body does not want you to go through that. Your brain doesn't want you to go through that. It wants you to stay where it's safe and comfortable, and it knows you're going to survive. It doesn't care if you're happy. It doesn't care if you've got purpose and you believe in all these other things. It just knows you're alive, and you'll stay that way because this identity has proven it's safe to keep you alive. This identity that you're trying to go for has no proven record of you being safe and staying alive. So, you know, it's dangerous. Don't go there. Don't go there. Bad. So ego's going to stop you. And I think that's the stage I'm at. I'm at the stage of where all of my steps to grow are threatening ego. And it's not that I'm doing these things to myself, but I could have prevented them. And that's where I'm getting frustrated, that I'm kind of going victim mode of like, oh no, look at all these horrible things that have happened to me. And it's like, you could have done some steps. You could have handled things differently. You could have made a little bit more. I could have been paying attention. My driver's license wouldn't have expired. I could have done better research to know I needed the marriage certificates to show my name change. I could have planned in months in advance of losing the family car by giving it to my daughter and making a plan for myself before I was stuck with nothing. Even though I am in the position I'm in, not by choice, like I don't want this, I did make it happen because of the choices I made or didn't make to stop it. For example, when I give all my excuses, it puts me into victim mode. Victim mode has no control over their destiny, over their life, over the circumstance that they find themselves in. They can't change them. They had nothing to do with them, and they have no ability or power to get themselves out of it. That's a victim. There are certain situations where, yes, you're a victim not by choice. You know, when you're a kid, when you have parents, when you have certain jobs, you have responsibilities and stuff like that. But there are so many pieces that you can do around the victim box that will keep you from being completely contained in there. If a victim can't change their circumstance because they had nothing to do with how they got into their circumstance, then they're just going to sit there and wait for something to happen. They're just going to stay there because they can't change unless somebody else does something, and then they have the power to change. And I don't want to accept that. I want to change. I want to grow. I want to become more, which means I have to accept what I have done and what choices I've made that have put me in the position I put myself into, because I can make changes. Changes make change, right? Like stay the same, stays the same. Changes, then you change. And that's really hard because it's not just passive and sit back and wait and see what happens. You have to do the steps and you have to call yourself out on the steps. I have to say, you knew that was coming. You could have done something about it. I was scared. I had introvert, don't want to talk to people, the fear of things going wrong, like all of that allowed me to sit back and be the victim and let things happen to me. So now things just keep getting worse. I am scared. I want to put that out there. Like a lot of these pieces I'm really scared to do. And some of them are so easy that I kind of fall into it and then I get some nice results. And other ones take a lot more time and effort. So the scare level is big. The risk level is big. So is the reward. The more I take control and not shy away, the less these things are going to keep happening with these speed bumps that are causing me to sink. Like every other time in the past when I've had this much coming at me, I just roll over. I'm like, okay, just go. Just drive across me. Let me know when you're done so I can pick myself up again and continue existing, right? Because apparently doing more than existing is too much trouble. That's what I'm going to do. I need to stay focused. I need to plan out, problem solve, stop being scared, because you can't have a reward big enough without the risk that's equal. You have to be willing to fail to get the reward to win. And most of us would rather just stay in status quo and avoid the fear of that loss than believe in ourselves that we can find that win through the same action. Time to do some real work. Like, I'm stuck until I overcome this. All right, I did it. I got my list together. It took me a little bit of work because I had to travel the path of the old habit that I have portrayed before. Where does it lead to? Where does it grow into? What is the opposite kind of thing? Because I didn't want to just be like, doesn't lose temper as being the opposite of losing my temper. A little bit more steps that I can work with. So here's what I got. So basically, under my new traits is I'm going to embrace being adventurous, because there are so many times where something sounds fun and exciting and I'll immediately start picking it apart, doing negative Nancy, letting fear take over and coming up with all the reasons why I can't go do something. Too many people, too many crowds, too much money. Too far away, too close to lunchtime. Like all of these excuses keeps me from enjoying more adventure. So the next one is focusing on the whys, who's, what in those big bursts of anger. For example, my 9-year-old really triggers me when I have asked her to do something 20 times. So like getting ready for bed, 38 times of go brush your teeth, go brush your hair, go use the potty, get into bed. To the point where a lot of evenings I just snap. I'm done and walk away. So this trait is really going to help me focus on Why is she pushing back? What does she need? Who would respond to her better? Like sometimes I need to go and bring in somebody else to help out, like asking questions rather than just being upset or annoyed at her behavior. The next big one, and this one I've been working on for a while. So I got some steps in place, got to keep on going. But the emotions and feelings I have are personal. No one else can make me feel something. Only I can. So if somebody does something hurtful and I feel hurt, I have to remember that they didn't make me feel hurt. I got hurt because of something they said or did. And that makes a huge difference on letting things go when I understand it's me who's feeling this way, not them making me feel this way, right? That's a victim, that's powerless. I'm in control. I can make that feeling go if needed. Next one is when obstacles come up, that I will be focused on the solutions. How am I going to solve this? What does it need? What do I need to do? And not the excuses, because the excuses are what are stopping me from moving forward. The solutions are, how do I move forward? And that is what the new Tay is going to be working on. And I will embrace the hard things. So instead of running away from them, letting them grow into insurmountable obstacles that I can't even tackle, I'm going to realize when something comes up that's hard, just dealing with it is what's giving me the win to keep on moving forward. So I'm just going to grab hold of that hard thing and nail it to the best of my ability. And when things don't work out, then I work on the solutions to get those hard things done. And of course, prioritizing my health and exercise time. It is so easy to just go along with what everybody does, eating the foods, not taking the time. And I've been doing so good this last month on my 75 soft challenge to prioritize that. But once the challenge is over, that needs to stay my priority, not just have I achieved it because I have to check it off the list. And these last two ones, these ones are going to be more of that self-esteem and confidence. So I'm going to be, that future me will confidently share her thoughts and opinions without worrying if somebody else doesn't agree with them or doesn't like them or will argue them. If I feel a certain way or I think a certain way, that I don't need to diminish it for somebody else's benefit. I can say it. I can believe it. It's okay if nobody agrees with me, which then leads into don't waste time and my thoughts on those who can't appreciate or value my thoughts and feelings or my thoughts and my time. So if I know that I feel very strongly about something, say certain eating habits, like I don't eat meat, right? I'm not going to sit there and talk to somebody about the health benefits when they go out of their way to pretend like a caveman every time there's a meal, right? Just to be obnoxious or ornery. I'm not going to waste my opinion, my thoughts, my information, the value that I have carried from my research on a person who's not going to appreciate it. And those are the times where being quiet is perfectly fine. That type of quiet is prioritizing my mental health and, myself. Those are the news from the old, and now I got to get working on them.